on to the next one.
Yeah. Time for one that I wanted to talk about for a while.
I bet.
And now it's here.
Let's do it, Chief.
Tetris. Nothing but Tetris.
Tetris. The song is not in this arcade game, man. No. It's not. A lot of music in this segment of the podcast, folks.
Yeah. So, Tetris. Allow me to give you the backstory of Tetris, because I recently came across this and was very interested.
From the Ruskies.
Yeah.
Do it, friend. Comrade Sam, what do they say about Tetris?
So, I'm going to give the very short summary, because it's very complicated.
It is.
And very, very long.
I'm aware.
Told by, if you want more information, check out the Gaming Historian.
He's a great guy. Hats off to him for doing what he does. He's very professional. Keep doing what you do best.
Funding for the Gaming Historian is brought to you by people at Patreon. Thank you.
That's right. He does say that.
Like PBS. Viewers like you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway. So, basically, there's this Russian guy, right? And apparently there's like this Russian game that's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle blocks or whatever. And you gotta fit it into like this rectangle or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It was derived from something else.
Parallelogram or whatever. Anyway. So, he was in this Russian government's coding building, and I guess he got bored. So eventually he and a few friends started to make some games to help pass the time, because really, I guess there was nothing really to do. And this guy just took his love of those blocks and made Tetris. He cut out some bricks and made it a little bit more safer, more playable, and oh my gosh, it is very addicting.
It is.
As well, I didn't know this thing came out as late as it did. Like, it came out in like 1989 or something like that.
A little earlier than that.
Like 1988 or 87 or something.
It's like 86 or 87. Maybe 85 at the earliest.
I think it like started circling around on floppy disks in 85.
Yeah,
but
in the USSR at least,
and surrounding territories. But
right.
Yeah, this thing is like during the time of like Mario and like the SNES was about to come out
in 1991.
Yeah, and technology was getting better and better all the time, but they went back to like something like as easy as like Pac-Man, just like super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Easy to understand.
Easy to understand. You don't need to know anything. You just hop in and go.
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, and it's fun for the whole. It's fun for the whole family and all that. Like,
it is.
Like I guess. Some. It's very hard to do, but anyone can get it. Even a toddler could get it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is fit the blocks in with all the other blocks and make sure the lines disappear.
And if you get 4 in a row, it's a Tetris. Oh. So,
I found that whole thing very interesting. Also, apparently, there's like back and forth of like who owned the rights to it. I'm not going to go into that.
Well, that's actually kind of important.
Oh well.
For this game.
Yeah. So
I will now briefly explain it, if that is all right.
I mean, you could, but just so you know, the creator eventually did get credit for it, and that's good. I just gotta say that before I forget / we get off topic again. I gotta say the creator, who's a great guy, he followed the rules, even though there was the Soviet Union.
Well, he didn't quite follow the rules.
Not quite, but he he followed the procedures of his company or of his country and all that. And I gotta respect him for that. And he got credit in the end. So good job. You got full control. Whoever you are, I forget your name because it's Russian. Good job. You live in America now. Great. Make some American games. Hardcore. Anyway, on to the intro.
Fast forward to the point where Tetris made its way to the US and the big game companies found out about it. So here's what happened. Atari got the rights to put it in the arcade. Nintendo got the rights to put it in the home console market. So the game we see here in the video is the Atari game, which is why none of the iconic Game Boy Tetris music is present.
Even though Atari...
it's still a licensed Tetris game, but it's not anything related to the Nintendo version.
Yeah, even though Atari, I guess, stole the rights to the handheld gaming market or something.
Well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
So, Nintendo made it the launch and pack-in title for their Game Boy, which helped it sell. And I think I own 2 copies of it, along with the NES version, which is a very good port as well. However, there's the whole thing where Atari's arcade division, which is now at this point a separate company from the home console Atari because of the crash situation in '83.
The fact that they were pretty stupid back then, but
yeah.
Continue.
So Atari, the arcade company, decided to also enter the home market, but they can't use Atari as a home console company because that's already taken. So they came up with the name Tengen, or Tengen. I'm going to say Tengen because I think that's it. So Tengen initially had licensed games, one being Pac-Man, and then they had Gauntlet and I think RBI Baseball maybe. Or no, Gauntlet I don't think was ever licensed. I know Pac-Man and something else were licensed. Then they decided that they didn't want to comply with Nintendo's standards for creating games, which is kind of understandable, but you know, sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. But they didn't. They chose to reverse engineer the lockout chip, and they came out with their own third-party unlicensed Nintendo games known as the Tengen cartridges, which are black and they look a little different. And what happened was Tengen decided to release their arcade version of Tetris on the NES. So that means there's 2 different versions of Tetris now on the NES. There's the Tengen version, aka Atari, and there's the Nintendo version. And they're both good. I think the Nintendo version has better graphics. The Tengen version has better music and gameplay, and it's a little bit more valuable. Now, with that being said,
there is also a very interesting story about Tetris 2.
Yes.
But this isn't Tetris 2,
No,
so
this
we
is Tetris.
will stay on topic with Tetris.
So, now back to the arcade game itself.
Yes.
It's, from what I can remember, identical except for having better graphics, of course, than the NES.
Yeah.
It's identical to its NES counterpart.
It's got Russian
dancers in it.
It's got Russian backgrounds in it to appeal to the American market, like the mystery of Russia.
The music sounds more Russian. It's like
also apparently this was you could play against a person.
You can. There's a head-to-head mode.
Yeah, and there's also like, I used to play Tetris all the time,
Mhm.
growing up as a kid, like on the computer and all that.
Yeah.
Like some other people did from
Right.
floppies. Anyway, so this always it used to be like there was never any levels. It just infinitely like tried to make lines disappear. And
Just
that's
go
it.
for.
But this one,
It had levels, but like the Nintendo version at least has levels, but it's not like it stops and it's like you pass level 1. It just has a sound effect and it's like you're at level 2 and the difficulty increases, but it keeps going.
this one actually has levels.
Yes, that's right.
And you gotta make 4 lines disappear, 12 lines disappear, whatever. Also, and as well, they put like little squares in there to screw with you, and
They did.
they did in fact screw with me.
Huh.
I mean, this is like an actual type of game. This isn't like a
It's like a more challenging.
Yeah,
It
it's
makes
like-
you think more.
yeah. It's not like a puzzle or whatever.
Well, it is a puzzle, but
Well, technically it is, but it's more game like
it has
video
more of a
game-
game, yeah, a
video
game
game.
element.
This one is more video game like compared to like computer ports of it that you can find all over the place.
Yeah.
That is like a puzzle almost.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's it. But yeah,
It's
one
a
of
good game though.
yeah, it's one of those games that's like it's boring watching, but
Yeah. I can
great.
see that.
but great to play.
Oh yeah.
It's like sports for some people. It's
Huh.
boring to watch. Like for me, it's boring to watch basketball,
Yeah.
but it's fun to play basketball. You know,
right.
like especially for me, like this game is boring as hell to watch,
Yeah.
but it's fun as hell to play.
And funny thing though, as good of a version of Tetris as this is, it's not like a really sought after game per se.
Yeah, because there's all these computer ports of it.
Well, that plus it came out in that time when, you know, they had the whole Dynamo cabinet thing where companies were just making the games and then they used these generic standard cabinets that were all the same shape and it had this standard arcade cabinet look, and it's just really, you find Tetris in either Dynamo cabinet or it was converted from something else, so
Yeah,
there's not really a dedicated original Tetris cabinet. It's kind of like Street Fighter 2 in that sense.
Yeah, and I guess it also it was pretty revolutionary, but not like, you know, something that's like a Donkey Kong or
Good.
that's what I said,
You said Con, Chief.
Donkey Kong or
Thank God.
or Pac-Man or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's a game and it's on the thing and yeah. It's all over the place. You can pretty much find it anywhere online.
Right.
You can play it on game consoles and many other things.
That is true.
So you don't necessarily need the arcade game version of it unless you're super rich. In which case, go ahead.
I mean, even then, the arcade version is usually not that expensive if it comes up for sale.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So,
All in all, for me, I give this a with the history and all that to boot. I give it a minus.
all right, I'll give it a B plus.
Why do you give it a B plus?
I don't know. For me, I guess it's just because Tetris is all over the place, and
Yeah.
I mean, at the time when it came out, I'm sure it was cool to be able to play it in person or in an arcade, but it's not that much superior to the NES version
Yeah.
compared to like arcade Donkey Kong versus NES Donkey Kong.
Yeah. see that. I can really see that.
Yeah, I mean, that's Tetris for you, you know.
I mean,
I like it, but not enough to get the arcade version.
surprisingly.